That's easy.
It's Snow White.
I don't have a problem.
It's all white.
And that was about the property on, I think it was on Lady Drive. No, that's not a problem. I was just trying to get a clarification on it.
I said, am I right? I said, one day, somebody said something about it, and I went back and listened.
Yes, he's on 60 pounds. He's got 70.
Oh, we're good. No, not a problem.
I love him anyway. I married him to me. It's for pre-diabetics, but you don't have to be placed. Weight loss program. And you get it with an insulin syringe. And, and it also prevents stroke, cardiac first 8 weeks after you're on it, blood cholesterol about 66 pounds. And it totally calms your appetite. Very much. Because you eat healthy, you're Mediterranean diet. I eat, but I don't eat much.
Is she coming?
I don't know. Linda
Who's
Kay?
coming?
I don't know. Linda Kay? She,
Oh, I haven't talked to her
I
lately.
haven't either.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 3 o'clock. We're gonna wait a few more minutes for the city council to get here, so we don't have to open and close different sessions. Thank you.
It's one of the side effects is loss of appetite. You do eat, you just don't eat large amounts. We take a B12.
Oh, come on, you can be challenged with a day. What a big deal. Take the money and run, buddy.
It's a deal, but it's not a
They gave you a raise.
There's not one. And the rest of them.
Hot window was upstairs.
It's a possibility that she might not be here. She's probably not gonna be here.
Yeah, I'm sure she. That's what they,
appropriate? Hi, Council.
Supposed to be on the way. They tell us 3:15. But they have two, they can do without us.
Yeah, well, it can stay like this here, because it's still working. It's that summer heat. I used to take it, but I can't take it no more. This I can do year-round. Oh, yeah.
Well, no, it's just so when you look at it, you know what the normally are. You don't have to undo all of it.
Just get started slow. Maybe they
Hey, transfer me.
right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Mr. Parigi decided to sit down and quit politicking, and we have enough people from the city council, so we probably by the time we do our 2 regular meeting cases, we would have a quorum by the city. Good afternoon again. My name is Sina Nejad. I'm the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission, along with my hardworking commissioners who welcome you to our meeting. Please make sure that you silence your cell phone, and we'll get started with the roll call, please.
Chairman Najad,
Here?
Commissioner Beatty is absent, Commissioner Jabbar is absent, Commissioner Javid,
Here.
Commissioner Linton,
Here.
Commissioner Macon is absent, Commissioner Noyola,
Here.
Commissioner Pate,
Here.
Commissioner Karishi.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The minutes of the meeting of September 19 was published to all members. I would entertain a motion, or if there is any corrections or revision that needs to be done to it. Other than the fact that they refer to my gentleman on the left as the chairperson, which is,
Yeah, that's correct, Mr. Chairman. On page 8, they listed me as Chairman Noyola, so
and
It's
you
not- it's not
you
a big
figured
deal,
out very
but
quickly that you weren't getting a raise, right?
very quickly.
Okay. Any other comments?
Other than that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to pass these meetings.
Fantastic. We have a motion to accept the minutes to the record. Is there a second?
Second.
And we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you. We're going to get started with our first case of the regular meeting, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's PZ 2022334, correct?
Yes, sir. It's a request for an abandonment of alleyways in blocks 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Calder Addition and the right-of-way abandonment of the 600 block of Forest Street. Barbara Wilson, along with most of the adjacent property owners, have requested this abandonment. Neighboring properties would like to fence these areas, preventing access to the public. Beaumont Fire is in favor of the presented abandonment of Forest Street as long as the pavement remains. Also, each fence installed restricting access to the abandoned properties must contain a minimum 12-foot wide gate with a Knox padlock for fire access. Public Works is not opposed to the abandonment, but wants to be clear that the pavement and roadway would no longer be maintained by the city for any portion of Forest Street that is abandoned. In addition, any streetlights will need to be removed or transferred into private accounts for that area that is abandoned. Planning staff recommends approval with the following conditions. All alleyways and street to be abandoned will be retained as utility and access easements. Pavement for abandoned portions of Forest Street will no longer be maintained by the city of Beaumont. 3. Street lights in abandoned portions of Forest Street must be removed or transferred into private accounts. Number 4, any gate installed to restrict access to the alleys or abandoned street must be at least 12 foot wide with Knox padlocks for fire access. And 5, if approved, applicant shall obtain an appraisal and title commitment for the property to be abandoned at their expense. Appraisal and title commitment must be submitted to the planning office along with proof that payment has been arranged prior to the item being placed on City Council's agenda. And I do have a couple of slides for you. That was not it. Okay. The areas outlined in red are your subject property, the areas that are requested to be abandoned. And this was a copy of the map submitted to the city for those areas. And I've got a couple of street views, just looking up Forest Street from McFadden Avenue, and then looking back down Forest Street from North Street. And I believe the applicant, along with several of the neighbors, are here. And are there any other questions?
Any questions for the lady? Thank you, ma'am. And the applicant is in the audience? Who is the applicant? Good afternoon. Who is going to speak?
I would say ladies first, but I think she'll let me go.
All right.
My name is David Bradley. I office at 2165 North Street. My welcome to you, Chairman, Commissioners, and honorable council members. We started on a little journey here. I acquired the Holmes Duke House, which for your reference is on the corner of Forest and North Street. And if you haven't seen it, you may have noted it in the past. Paul Shagwa had that home for quite a while, and he ran his business out of there. And it sold about 10, 12 years ago. And upon him selling the home, the gentleman that bought it was in poor health, couldn't keep the home up. And I've noticed it driving past it, going to work every day, that it slowly became overgrown. You couldn't even see the home. Gentleman died in the home, and the city made a wellness call on him and found him, and funeral home held on to him for about 6 months trying to find family to pay the bill. They came down from Canada. The city informed them that the building was in poor condition and was probably going to be deemed an uninhabitable structure. Fortunately, I got a phone call from the gentleman, and we were able to talk to him, and we had a plan to salvage the building. So this is my journey that started with the city. The biggest problem in wanting to spend a couple $100,000 to renovate a historic home, you should go by and see it. It's got a plaque on it, tells the history. He was one of the early Beaumont families. It's one of the few remaining homes from the downtown district. It is on the state register and on the national register. But our problem is the first thing we discovered is every time we drove past the property, another window was broken. And someone was in the house. And then the fence kept getting pulled down. And we found out that all the alleyways around there had become public toilets. So trying to find a solution to renovate an old home, and then I started visiting with some of the neighbors, and they all had the same concerns. So what we're trying to do is an initiative to help the city, to help us, to protect our private property rights, and help all the neighbors continue to enjoy the use of that property. So we're here today to petition y'all to help us with the solution. I have visited with all of the property owners out of all the plats, and you can see all the different tax IDs that are on there. Unable to reach but maybe 2, maybe 3 people. 2 of them are abandoned lots that the city continues to mow on their behalf. And the third one was the Women's Center, or the Women's Club. And I could say personally that they're in favor of the proposal. It's just they couldn't put a committee together to get a consensus and get us a signature in time. But having said all that, I think there are a number of other people and neighbors that would like to present their case.
Hello, I'm Greg Austin. Thank you for having me here. I'm the owner of the building at 1110 Calder, the Attorney General Building Child Support Unit. We built this building specifically for the state 25 years ago, and they were happy tenants until the homeless started moving in the alley behind. The state enjoyed more than 25 years there, and but the homeless just population became detrimental. They moved out March 31st because of this, after 25 years. On or about August 30th, we discovered 5 AC units completely stolen. There's 8 units. I guess only had a truck to hold 5. Took them completely off the slab. Cut them at the electrical line, whole unit's gone. I've had copper stolen, but never whole units. One of the officers, Papillon, I think, he said this is one of the worst alleys it has been for years and years. We put up cameras, and we had to put up just game cameras real quick the next day, and they stole them. We've since put more cameras, better cameras, and erected steel cages around the units. So maybe I'll keep those 3. So we appreciate your time and would like to get that alley closed. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Carolyn Lane. I live at 1125 North Street. I am right there living pretty much at ground zero. My husband and his family bought that property in 1963. My husband brought me into the household. We have raised our children there. So he has been there the better part of 60 years. Many years ago, we bought 2 empty lots next to 1125, and we fenced it in. 3 years ago, we bought another house at ground zero, which faces David's property, and it sits on the corner of Forest and North Street. Behind us, we have 2 empty lots that we are now being, through another other purpose, we need to fence it because people think it's because we mow it and maintain it and keep it clean. They feel like this is a great place to go tenting. They urinate, defecate, fornicate, whatever thing they can do. And this is a neighborhood where we've raised our children and we've had to fence everything in. And other people come into the neighborhood and want to assist them, which is great. But then there's the mess of trash behind, which blows through the yard. And helping people is great, but they attract people from the area that aren't there to be helped. There's a lot of nice vehicles that drive through there for no productive purpose other than to hang out and do whatever business or things that people do. That's where there's a lot of traffic on that side road of McFadden, and it's not productive traffic. And then, you know, those of us that live there, we have a big investment in that area. Not only have we paid taxes there for 60 years, but we've bought additional properties, and every one of them are fenced, cleaned, and maintained. We feel violated. And, you know, we feel like we need your help. It's a shame to have this part of the city. There's a big church, Sabine Tabernacle Church is across the street from us. Those people typically are from other parts of the city, so when they come out of their road, they see we're the snapshot of what's going on. So as they come out of there, they're going to say, this is what's going on. And some of them are fearful to be in that part of town. I have 2 dogs that help maintain law and order inside our fence, but I came home one day with a yard full of police officers and my husband most irate. I came through the back of the house. Well, someone that he had told to get off our property stood right on his feet and urinated, just about on his feet. Why should we have to put up with that? Why should we have to put up with tents and things? We're doing our best as citizens to maintain a neighborhood with homes and yards and to make it look good. We're not far from the highway. So if someone gets distracted, and who are they going to see? If there's a parade around, we're near downtown. And it's frustrating. So we're grateful for anything you can do to help us.
Good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
I'm
ma'am.
Barbara Wilson, and I own the large portion there and also own a lot behind on McFadden. I've been there 5 years. Since the 5 years, they've actually were camped right across the street there for about 5 years. And I actually mentioned to the police, I think about a month ago, that I was thinking about putting my building up for sale. And they mentioned to me that they could probably get those homeless people moved. And within a day, they actually went, looked up some ordinances, came back, made them moved, and one day, and they're gone. And they've been there for 5 years since I've been there. But I had the same problem with them going all behind my building, using the bathroom. I had an event yesterday. I had to go back there and scoop all the stuff where they use the bathroom up there. I was just installing security cameras now so I can see who it is. I mean, I have been there 5 years. I'm real familiar with all the homeless there, but we do need a little bit of assistance over there with those lines. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from any of you folks?
Yes. I had a question.
From who?
It'd probably be from Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Bradley.
on the Forest Street portion, and I was reading what the recommendations were, because on this portion, we're closing the whole street off, right?
The original proposal was to close Forest both from North Street to McFadden and then all the way to Calder. We got feedback from all the utility companies and city departments. The fire chief came back and said, no, we're not going to close Forest in between Calder and McFadden. And I went down, visited with him personally, and I had to agree with him. There's too much EMS service and too much liability in the fact that it's a hazardous area for them. So then we brought back the proposal of just closing off Forest Street from north down to McFadden. And in visiting with them, they did not have an objection to that. As you notice, it dead ends into North Street. It really doesn't feed anything. There is no through traffic. The only traffic that's on that street right there are homeless and visitors. You'll see cars parked there all day long. The cars are piled high with belongings and generally camping out on the curb during the day. There is no need for traffic on that block.
So you all plan on
Closing.
gating it off?
From what I understand, and the city's been wonderfully helpful, the ownership of the property actually goes to the property owners on either side. We will actually purchase that from the city. They will take down their signs. It will be labeled as a private road. We're required to leave it paved because the fire department can get through there. They have the Knox locks that they were talking about, or fire department locks. So they have access. They carry keys if they need to get through there to get to a property.
So you're actually gonna install a gate?
You know,
Across
the
the
gates and close off those streets. Hopefully, on the center of it to the alley, it will block the street. There will be a gate there. Now, one of the discussions that we're having that'll happen after the fact is working with the Salvation Army. It would probably be their intent, and what we've been discussing thus far is they will take in that street themselves, and it will become property for the Salvation Army. And they may gate it on the front side, and they will open that, and they will use it to store trailers or generators or vehicles. They can open it up to their property, which is adjacent. They put picnic tables out there. They can put their tents out there that they use for cover during the summer. So it will be an expansion of their footprint.
Are you gonna continue with the lighting, and who's gonna maintain that? I mean, that seems like that helps with,
Well,
keep them away, even if you do all of this.
very good point. And we did a little survey the other day with the neighbors. And the only city lighting that is up there right now is one street light that is in that cross from the alley in Forest Street. There's just one street light right there. And so the alternative is that we can pick up the utility bill for that light. Energy will bill the property owner. And they want to keep a light there. There is no other lighting. Now, personally, I'll go on the back side on the alley, and I'll be putting in lighting to cover the backyards on either side. There'll be a lot more lighting
That will help.
from us.
This question is for Councilman Getz. Councilman, do you know if the Homeless Coalition has made any effort or gone down there and maybe looked and examined what's going on down there to see if there's maybe perhaps other alternatives of homeless people that maybe want to move into some of the work you guys have been doing?
I can't speak for everybody in the coalition, but I've been down there many times and the problems are as stated, and I think this would help very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Great. We've heard from the staff. We also have heard from the applicant and the rest of the neighbors. And I hope that you have all the information you need. And for that, I would entertain the motion.
Make a motion to approve with the existing conditions.
Second.
There are 5 existing conditions, and we have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you. And we'll go to PZ 2022349.
Yes, sir. PZ 2022-349 is a request for a replat of lots 14 12A-1 and 15A-1 into lots 1, 2, and 3 of the amended plat of Natchez Terrace Edition, Beaumont, Jefferson County, Texas. James Douglas of Fitz and Shipman, Inc. is requesting this replat. The purpose of the plat is to create 3 residential lots from one existing property. Properties that only face Highway 105 do not have direct access to city sanitary sewer lines, and properties that only face Tolliver Road do not have direct access to city water lines. Easements are being included to provide utility access to all lots. The subject property is outlined in red. Notices were mailed to 10 property owners, and we've received no responses in favor or in opposition of this request. And here's a copy of the actual replat. And the applicant is in the audience. If you have a question?
I was trying to figure out where the lot lines are, and I can see that now. Okay. Thank you.
The way that property is situated, the first lot on the top left-hand side of the property is going to extend behind the property next to it because they have a swimming pool back there, so they want to keep that swimming pool as part of their property. But they're dividing off 2 other lots that can be used to build on.
Great, and they're gonna have access from different roads.
Right. 2 will be accessed from 105 and 1 will be accessed from Tolliver.
Great. Any questions for the lady? And you said the applicant's in the audience? Who is the applicant? Douglas, James Douglas?
Audience, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, well, let me, since the applicant is not here, let's start with the public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this case? None is heard, so we close the public hearing. We have heard from the staff, and you have the plats as it was presented, and I would entertain the motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. This concludes our regular agenda. Now we're gonna go to the joint meeting with the City Council, and the Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Durio, is here. That's gonna get us started.
Hey, can I get a roll call, please?
Mayor Mouton is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Durio.
Here.
Councilmember Felchaw.
Present.
Councilmember Turner.
Present.
Councilmember Neild is absent. Councilmember Getz.
Present.
Councilmember Samuel.
Present.
Thank you.
Just want to welcome everyone to the joint meeting of the Beaumont City Council and Planning Commission. This will be the only opportunity to speak on the items today. The Planning Commission will make recommendations to City Council. The items heard today will come before the City Council in 1 to 2 weeks for a decision. There will not be a public hearing on the items at the City Council meeting, only today at the public hearing. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. We get started with PZ 2022367.
Yes, sir. This is a request for a specific use permit to allow a permanent makeup tattooing in the CBD Central Business District. Courtney Baldwin has requested this specific use permit. Ms. Baldwin has mentioned she plans to provide body art, cosmetic tattooing, and eyelash extensions. As the Central Business District does not require any on-site parking, vehicles would park on the street. The planning staff recommends approval of the application with the following condition. Plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for any water and sanitary sewer improvements, including any requirements of the city's backflow pretreatment and or FOG program. And notices were mailed to 14 property owners, and we've received no responses in favor or in opposition of this request. I do have some slides for you. This is a showing where the location is of the subject property outlined in red. Just a little closer view without the zoning overlay, so it's a little clearer. And this is the subject property. Properties to the northwest, properties to the north, to the east, and to the south, and to the west. And the applicant is in the audience.
Adina, what happens to ADA access when there is no parking lot?
Well, hopefully the streets or the sidewalks and all that have been designed to accommodate the ADA. They should be in the downtown area, as they were all redone.
So there's access to every one of the businesses?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions for Adina? And Mrs. Baldwin? Good afternoon, ma'am. Do you have any additional information you'd like to give us? All right. This is a fairly large building, isn't it? Do you know how many square feet?
Chairman,
it is?
I'm going to ask that Ms. Baldwin come to the mic if you're going to continue to ask her questions, just so it can be recorded.
I was trying to avoid that, see, but you just have to get up and come up.
That's okay.
Well, if you would state your name and address for the record, please.
I am Courtney Baldwin, and I own KB Artistry at B308, 308 Orland Street.
Okay, great. And how many square feet building is this?
4,100. On that unit, it's 11,000 square foot total.
Okay, so you guys are just taking a portion of it.
Yes, I rent
Okay.
a suite inside.
All right, any questions for the lady? Thank you, ma'am. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this case? None is heard, so we close the public hearing. We heard from the applicant and also the staff. The city has approved this, their recommendation with one condition. And with that, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with one condition.
We have a motion to approve with the one condition. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you. All right, Adina, PZ 2022378.
Zach Rowe, on behalf of Oak Ridge Assisted Living Home, requests a specific use permit to develop an assisted living facility located at 3440 Belmont Avenue. The GCMD2 zoning district requires an SUP for all new land uses. The intent of the facility is to provide 24-hour care to 16 elderly residents in a comfortable and home-like environment. They will employ 12 people to staff the facility. Planning staff recommends approval with the following conditions. Construction plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for any water, sanitary sewer improvements, including any requirements to the city's backflow pretreatment and/or fog program. Number 2, construction plans shall be in compliance with section 28.04.006 landscaping and screening requirements. 14 property owners were mailed notice of the case. We received 2 letters in favor and 0 in opposition. This is an overview of the zoning map. This is an aerial photograph. This is the proposed site plan. This is the subject property. West and northwest properties. That's Barrington Heights back there. This is to the south, southeast and east, and to the north. We do have the applicants here.
Good, thank you, ma'am. Any questions for the lady? Mr. Rowe? Good afternoon. If you would, please state your name and address for the record.
Zach Rowe, Whiteley Oliver Engineering, 3250 East Texas Freeway.
Mr. Rowe, do you have any additional information you'd like to give us?
No, sir. We have no objection to the conditions provided, and Mr. Parigi is here. I'm sure he has something he'd like to say, though.
You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Would the attorney allow him to talk, or?
Of course, public hearing.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
You have volunteered by popular demand, Mr. Parigi. Da 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 da.
Hello, my name is Sam Parigi, and I'm at 445 North 14th Street here in Beaumont, Texas. And I love this town. And I appreciate what y'all do for it. This is an assisted living center for I'm going to call it what's the name of it again, Vera? I can't remember. It's for brain.
Alzheimer or?
Well, yes, but I wasn't going to give it away that way. I was trying to tell you it's for people that forget things. You know, and I'm getting that way. I'm getting that way, so I'm just kind of building for the future. This is a place for people to live that have Alzheimer's and that can stay in a communal area with 16 other people, single bedroom, full bath, in each one of them. And I think it'll be a nice facility. Last month, y'all approved Dr. Arfine building the clinic in front of it, the diagnostic clinic that he's doing there. And so we think this is pretty good. It's a nice looking residential style. It's not going to be a commercial looking, but everything out there, if you really pay, the veterinarian kind of's got a real residential type look to it. And we don't want it to stick out like a sore thumb. So we are very much in favor of it. I have full disclosure. I was the two people that voted for it. So I don't want y'all to know that two people did vote for it because I got two notices and I voted in favor of it. I thought that was the thing to do. But with that being said, I think it's good. Vera, you here? There's Vera. Come forward, Vera. Vera has been doing this. She's a registered nurse.
So wait a minute. Now you're running the show in here? I mean,
well, I gotta tell her.
You have anybody else you're going to invite?
Well, if somebody else wants to come, they can. She has been doing this for how long? How long have you been a registered nurse?
2003.
Okay. And she has a place already on Major Drive. And she wanted to add on to that place, and then she chose to just, let me go build a whole new facility that would work better. And that's why she's here today. And I'm proud of her because I'm going to be one of her patients, I know. So we've already worked that all out. So if y'all have any questions of how she's going to function or how it's going to work, you ask her now, because I think this is something we really could use. Unfortunately, we're all getting old.
Well, thank you, Mr. Parigi.
I'll sit down now.
And would you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Vera Bonaris, and my current location is 2990 South Major Drive.
Great. Do you have any additional information that you'd like to share with us?
No, sir.
All right. Do anybody of you have a question from the lady?
Yes. Is this a two-story building or single story?
It's single story.
8,000 square feet building,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, ma'am. Have a great afternoon. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this case? None is heard, so we close the public hearing. We heard from the staff, the applicant, and of course, Mr. Parigi. And I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with two conditions.
Second.
There is a motion to approve with the conditions, and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, and congratulations, ma'am. Good luck to you. We have, the next one is PZ 2022379.
Brandy Tarver requests a specific use permit to open an ice cream shop located at 3825 West Lucas Drive, Suite C. The GCMD2 zoning district requires an SUP for all new land uses. Ms. Tarver intends to sell to-go ice cream and milkshakes. They will employ They will have 6 to 7 employees, and the hours of operation will be 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday through Saturday. Sundays will be closed. Planning staff recommends approval with the following condition. Plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for any water and sanitary sewer improvements, including any requirements of the city's backflow pretreatment and/or fog program. 17 property owners were mailed notice of the case, and we received 2 letters in favor and 1 in opposition stating I would be in favor of it if and only if a privacy fence would separate our property lines. As a new owner of this property, there is no privacy in the back or front yard during business hours. My property has been broken into and things stolen. Also, a man waiting for his child at Kuman Place was taking pictures of the dog and backyard. She has put up no trespassing signs. This is a view of the zoning. This is an aerial photograph. This is the site plan. So she will be right in the middle in Suite C.
Mm-hmm.
This is the subject property. This is the suite. This is the subject property and to the west. This is to the south. That's a residential single-family home. This is to the east. I believe that's Lucas Square Plaza. And this is to the north. And we do have Ms. Tarver here.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the lady? Ms. Tarver? Good afternoon. Do you have any additional information that you'd like to give us? No, sir. Well, if you don't mind, why don't you come up, let us ask you some questions. If you would state your name and address for the record first.
Brandy Tarver, 3825 West Lucas, Suite C.
Ms. Tarver, is this something you've done as a profession, or you just got into this?
I just got into it. It's new.
All right, and what is it?
It's rolled ice cream. It's not here, but it's kind of like up north, and so it's something new, and it's something we're getting into.
Well, great, great. Any questions for the lady? So this is like the stone and they cold stone, and then they pour the liquid.
They pour. It's pre-made, and you just pour, and so you just roll it up, and it's like they call it fried ice cream, but you don't fry it, but it's rolled ice cream.
Okay. All right. Great. Any questions for the lady? That would be a nice addition. We don't have any ice cream shops
It's not
around.
here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's ice cream, guys. Ask questions.
Is it non-fattening?
No, it's not non-fattening. I'll tell you that. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this case? If you would come up here, sir, and state your name and address, and we would love to hear from you. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Yes, my name is Mark Johnson, Dr. Mark Johnson, and I'm nearly at the same address I would be her next door neighbor, 3825 West Lucas Drive, Suite A. And I'm for ice cream as well. I think it would be great to have an ice cream place next door to me.
Good. Does Julie know about that?
Oh, Julie's all for it. She couldn't be here, but I can speak for my wife, Julie.
Okay.
She would love it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. We'll note that. Is there anybody else? Good afternoon, ma'am. If you please, state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Tina Cobb. I live at 3755 West Lucas, right next door.
That's
and
right.
I'm for ice cream, and I wish you a lot of luck and success. It's just there is no privacy.
Sure.
And it is a residence, and there is going to be a lot of heavier traffic, even in the evening hours. So I'm for it, but I would like a privacy fence.
Would you put up that aerial photograph again, please? So there is no fence between the landscaping and your house, which is on the south side, right?
There is a cyclone fence.
Okay. Is there a requirement for a privacy fence?
So this establishment, or this strip mall has existed, well past, the landscape ordinance when that was adopted. It is a condition that we can place, but they would not if it were a new construction, then it would kick in that privacy fence. However, she's just moving into a space, so it would not in this case.
Want a reference?
I'm sorry?
Would that be to the owner, the landlord, or to the
That's
tenant?
where the question is, because it's a long strip, and I believe it belongs to Dr. Johnson, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to figure out the mechanism of how to handle this. Do you have a suggestion?
Is there a legal question there? Or are you asking me for my opinion?
Ordinance-wise.
Ordinance-wise, Demi is correct. Like, there is a condition that you guys can place, but it wouldn't be placed on the applicant. It would be a condition. So if you made it a condition, it would be something she'd have to negotiate, maybe with her landlord, because she doesn't own that property. So she's not entitled to the fence. She's renting a space. So you really can't compel anybody to do something to property that they don't own.
That's kind
So,
of what I figured, yeah.
So it would really be a condition, and obviously she would have to, that would be, you can put a condition there, but it'd be something that would be the responsibility of the property owner to do or not do based on, whether or not they wanted it there. As Demi stated, this building predated the landscape ordinance, which means it wasn't a requirement at the time. So they weren't required to do it at the time. And so the commission should be cognitive of putting a condition like that in place, because you have a lot of strip centers that, again, existed prior to the landscape buffer requirement, that if they have a person vacate their property and they show up again for a specific use permit, you might have another citizen coming forth and saying, I too would like a privacy fence, that might not have the same claims or concerns that the existing citizen has. However, they would still be entitled to ask for it, because it is something that you guys have considered in the past.
What if she continues having problems with it, then she files a complaint, and does that get back to us, or how is that handled by the police department or the city?
So if she filed obviously she would, if there was a criminal, like, she can file a criminal complaint, but she could also file a complaint with our code enforcement board, and it would have to be reviewed there. But at that time, again, there's not really anything that the city could compel the property owner to do, because that wasn't a condition at the time.
Sure. Thank you,
So any errors or potential will need to be fixed at this stage. But you have the property owner and the applicant here, so I think that this is a...
Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Cobb, I really sympathize with you, but you can see the dilemma in here. It wouldn't be fair to get the owner who already has a building permit and has a use permit to make him to go back and fence the whole thing. But I would encourage you to, we're gonna talk to the applicant again, but I would encourage you to file a complaint if you see problem persist.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't help you as much as I wanted to. All right, ma'am, and it's your turn. You have a negative comment against you, so I would like for you to reply to that.
I want to say that Kumon is open from, I believe, like 3 to 6, 3 to 6. And so the goal is to open at 11 and close about 7 o'clock. And I believe Miss Julie is closed on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. So I think that would eliminate the traffic there, because we'll be open and Miss Julie will be closed. So it won't be as much traffic as combining Kumon and the ice cream shop together.
Well, we would appreciate if you be a good neighbor and make sure that your patrons are sensitive to Mrs. Cobb's comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Is there anybody else that would like to speak for or against this case? We closed the public hearing. We heard from the applicant, the neighbors, and also the owner of the property. And there is one condition that they all agree to, And with that, I ask for a motion.
Motion to approve with one condition.
There is a motion to approve with the condition. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you. Good luck to you, ma'am. We have our last case, PZ 2022382.
Seth Shulgin, on behalf of Williams Brothers Construction Company, requests a specific use permit to develop a temporary batching plant located at 4965 Finette Road. Williams Brothers purchased the property to utilize as a temporary yard to support reconstruction and expansion of Interstate 10. Facilities on site will include office trailers, truck yard, concrete batch plant, pug mill, crusher, borrow pit, and detention. The property in total is approximately 173 acres and abuts the Hildebrandt Bayou. Section 28.04.008 Part 10 of the city's ordinances state before an SUP may be granted for a temporary batching facility, the city council shall find that such batching plant, yard, or building is both incidental to and necessary for construction within 2 miles of the plant. An SUP may be granted for a period of not more than 180 days, and approval shall not be granted for the same location for more than 4 SUPs during any 30-month period. Within 30 days following the termination of any batching plant, the permittee shall cause the site to be returned to its original condition. Planning staff recommends approval with the following conditions. Number 1, construction plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for any water, sanitary, sewer improvements, including any requirements of the city's backflow, pre-treatment, and/or fog program. Number 2, shall secure water services to the property with the water department. Number 3, shall maintain a buffer of 50 feet from the edge of the waterway to the Hildebrandt Bayou into the property and shall not disturb any of the natural vegetation within that buffer. Number 4, shall adhere to all state of Texas guidelines and regulations to ensure freshwater ponds will not be negatively impacted by the development. Number 5, proper stormwater pollution prevention plan measures must be utilized to reduce the pollutants in the stormwater discharging from the construction site into Hildebrandt Bayou. Number 6, all structures erected shall be in compliance with section 28.03.024 district area and height regulations. Number 7, fire apparatus access shall be provided for all structures on site. Number 8, within 30 days following the termination of the batching plant, the permittee shall cause the site to be returned to its original condition. 22 property owners were mailed notice of the case, and we received 0 in favor and 0 in opposition. And I do believe the applicants are here.
Good, thank you. Any questions?
Real quick, I'll go through this slide. Here's the zoning map. This is an aerial photograph with the site plan. So you can see this, the Hildebrandt Bayou that is running or abutting it. This is the subject property. I couldn't go past any further because it's no trespassing. This is property to the west, property to the east, and property to the north. This is also a picture of the area that they will be reconstructing. So Cardinal Drive interchange area is the bid that they won. So the property line begins here and it extends to the interchange, and it is approximately 1 mile to the site. Applicants are in the audience.
This business of returning the property to its original condition is minus the trees, right?
Yes, I would assume so. I believe the main concern is to make sure that trash, the work trailers, those kinds of things have been abated, and to make sure that there's no, pollution or anything that would run into the Hildebrandt.
Yeah, but most likely all of this is going to be limestone, right? And paving, because they have concrete trucks going over it?
Yes, sir.
All right. But they did buy the property.
They did.
It's their property. Okay. Well, thank you. The Applicant, the guys that are smiling over there. Good afternoon.
I figured I better get up before I get in trouble. I love your smile, by the way, it's contagious. My name is Seth Shulgin, address 3800 Milam, and I work for Williams Brothers Construction Company.
Good afternoon, sir. You have 3 minutes, so you give us any additional information you might have.
Okay. We are the highway construction contractor that is rebuilding the Interstate 10 US 69 interchange. It is a TxDOT project. We purchased this property to temporarily use for our facilities to help build and construct that project. Ideally, the location of it being close to the project was ideal. Extremely important to help limit the amount of trucks that we have to utilize for our work and limit the amount of trucks that get put on the roadway to achieve that. Also, it's not really shown, but off on the right-hand side there to the east of the property is the city water treatment plant and the landfill as well. So we were kind of very strategic in where we purchased property and the conditions of such. It is also light industrial. We hope to fall under the light industrial requirements. We take provisions, the way that we set up our sites to strategically place stockpiles such that we limit our noise. The 50-foot buffer that Ms. Demi spoke about, we've already left that in place along the bayou. So we try to be good neighbors everywhere that we can be. And with that, I'll conclude.
Great. And how long is this project going to take?
This project is approximately 5 years. I know you grimace. I know progress takes time, obviously, but TxDOT is in control of that, not us. So.
And what do you see happening to this property afterward? You guys, I'm sure you're going to sell it, or?
Yes, sir. Ideally, once we're done with our work here, we'll move all of our toys off of the property and ultimately put it back on the market. Yes, sir.
Any questions for the gentleman? I'd like to ask you a question.
Sure.
Why is this highway projects take so long? I mean, seriously, I've been in construction and engineering all my life. I've never seen so many pieces of equipment just sitting on the site. Who pays for those?
So ideally, we don't like any of our pieces of equipment sitting idle at any point in time.
We drive to Houston every day, and I see all this equipment just sitting there.
So the best sort of analogy that I've been given in my career is the reconstruction of an existing highway is very similar to you remodeling your kitchen or your bathroom in your house. But your contractor is having to remodel it while you still live in the house and use your bathroom and kitchen. And so the reason it takes so long is because we're trying to accommodate traffic while building and adding and reconstructing.
Great. Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Everybody's question. Yes, sir, please.
Is this yard going to have any permanent employees there?
I'm sorry.
Will you have any permanent employees at this place?
So the current plan is to have some office trailers there, but at this point in time, we will not have any mobile trailers for employees to live at or live in.
But you have employees in the batch plant?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll have full-time employees there. Absolutely. And we'll have, obviously, employees going in and out of the yard continuously.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this case? None is heard, so we close the public hearing. We've heard from the staff and also the applicant, and they do understand, or forgive me, I forgot to ask the gentleman, you do understand the 8 conditions, right?
Yes, sir.
And you agree to comply with them?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. He does understand the 8 conditions and their agreement and the compliance with those. With that, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with 8 conditions.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Thank you very much. This concludes our meeting. The Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Durio, would send us home.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, sir. We always have fun.